Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. I'm Mike Hobbs, your host. Thanks for tuning in as you do. We've been off for a few days, took a little bit of a break, but we're back. We're going to be back weekly. We're bouncing around with some time, so thanks for tuning in. If you're 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, that's when we're going today on Thursday. So happy Thursday to you. Hey, I'm Mike Hobbs. I'm a home loan officer with Loan Depot. And Loan Depot is the second, there it is, the second largest mortgage banker in the country. They do some pretty cool stuff. They just announced actually a new HELOC. It's a brand new HELOC that just came out. It's only in 3 states right now. California's one of them, Washington, and don't hold me to it. Arizona, maybe, I don't know, but I lend in Washington, Idaho, and California. So California is where I can do it, and Washington. But it's really cool. It's a online electronic. It's a 7-day start to close. So you plug all your information in, and it comes out. It pops out, and it does an AVM, an automated valuation on your property. You don't have an appraisal fee. You don't have that. You don't. You turn it looks at your income electronically online, so it's really like very seamless and really kind of like a digital HELOC is really what it is. So home equity line of credit, maximum 250,000 on that. There's Loan Depot again. Yes, I work for Loan Depot. I'm a home loan officer, and so that HELOC's pretty cool. And if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. You see scrolling at the bottom, you see my information, Mike Hobbs. I'm swinging back and forth because I'm excited. I can't sit still, but we're going back and forth there. On the bottom there, my name, who I am, NMLS, Loan Depot, my website, and also my phone number so you can track me down that way if you have any questions. I've been doing this 38 years. I've done a lot of stuff from starting a law firm and not an attorney. I did that with Tony Lewin and having an escrow company back in the day. And a couple of real estate firms, a couple of mortgage companies, one of the largest in the country at one time, brokerage. And so in my final days, years, I should say final days, that sounds kind of morbid. No, I'll be here tomorrow, I promise. But in my final years in the business, I really wanted to work for a company that had something to offer the consumer. I'm grateful to be here. I love serving others. I've done that through my church as a worship team drummer. My wife was a praise team leader, and I like serving people. And really, I'm passionate about that in really helping people do things. That's why I did radio shows. In fact, one of them was Mortgage Madness, the predecessor to this. There it is. Mortgage Madness was a radio show that we did for, gosh, almost 10 years, and it was consumer advocacy based. So enjoyed doing that. And now you're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs here on YouTube and Facebook and on Spotify as well. And then also did Rebel Realtors Radio. There it is. You can see the sign is breaking. For those of you listening on Spotify, you can't see it, but it's got the iconic for sale sign in front of the house snapping in half because we created a modality in a real estate firm that had never been done in the country and still is not. We're going to talk about that in a minute. That's why the show today is Agent Superstars for sellers and buyers, because then there it is, Agent Superstars, promise, deliver, stand out. And it's really about doing that. Agents should be doing that. So the Rebel Realtors Radio is really promoting that program, Agent Superstar, for and frankly for buyers and sellers, because it was the first and only real estate agency in the country that made buying less terrifying, and it made selling more profitable through a product that we produced. You don't usually see products produced in real estate, so that was really cool when we did that. Again, I've been doing this 38 years, so talking about different things. I think that being the first and only loan officer or home loan officer in the country that makes buying less terrifying and buying more affordable, and frankly, makes selling more efficient, is something I think all loan officers should do, should provide that benefit, but they don't. And so it's not just coming down to a commodity and who's got the lowest interest rate. It's who retains servicing. It's who can solve problems. It's who can dig in and find guidelines that are obscure guidelines to help you. If you're perfect and your credit's, 750, 720, you've got all your money documented, you've been in your job for 10 years, whatever, 5 years, you can shop around there. You can find the best program, and you really don't need any of the ancillary aspects of a good home loan officer that's going to help you find things to make your transition into home ownership smoother. You don't need that. But again, even for those people, I help out a lot of folks that are, perfect. And Loan Depot provides a platform and a format for me to be able to do that competitively and efficiently. So, in the vein of making this buying more affordable for a buyer, I created this package called the Buyer Benefits Bundle. And it does some things for buyers. It's things you can get off the shelf a la carte. Well, it's not, fool anybody. It's not rocket science or anything, but you can not just get them a la carte, but go ahead and bundle them up, and they're very powerful. And so that's something, if you're interested in the Buyer Benefits Bundle, please reach out to me. For those that are just listening to me, you can always reach me at 208-643-2865. That's my phone number, or at MikeHobbs1, the numeral1.com. You can reach me there. You can also check me out at itsmortgagemadness.com. That's our YouTube channel. So thanks for tuning in to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. Let's talk about a couple of things. If you're going to pick, I'm going to talk again, agent superstars. How do you find one? If you're going to sell your home, let's talk about sellers. If you're going to sell your home, how do you actually do that? I mean, what's the criteria in which, or the litmus test in which you implement to pick the best agent? They're all out there talking about, well, frankly, USPs. You've heard me talk about unique selling propositions before. So agents tend to put themselves out there as salespeople, and they put themselves out there as advertising experts. They say they're marketers, but they're advertising experts. They're not really marketers. And I coach and mentor agents. I have a group that works with me now, and I keep adding to the stable of people that agents that are interested in changing the way they do business, finding distinctive competency, meaning they do something different and they're the best in their vertical than any other agent. And I always ask agents, here's something to ask them. If you're a seller and you're in the living room sit and an agent is talking to you, let's say, and you're looking for that agent superstar, and they say, hey, we're going to market your home. First thing comes to me, being a marketer, I've got a degree in that and a lot of education in marketing. If you, if you're sitting there in the living room sit and they say, we're going to market your home, the first question I ask is, great, what's your marketing mix? And what's interesting is that 99% of the agents out there, and I love Tom Ferry. In fact, I've got a seminar I'm going with. It's a 2023 seminar that's being put on at Loan Depot with Tom Ferry involved and some other folks about business planning and things like that. And I love Tom Ferry. I'm always picking on Tom. He's been around forever. He's great, awesome. I love him. I've invested in him over the years, over the decades. But there's interesting that he focuses on USPs. He muddles it a little bit with a UVP, and I always comment on things on his Facebook page and what have you, but he never comments back because I'm kind of a higher level marketer guy when it comes to that. And having created this business and this program that got me in a lot of trouble with the board, and then it went my way, was repealed by the state of California because I was right. Wasn't doing anything wrong, but we were just bringing something to the consumer that was best for them. But again, agents don't really know what marketing is. They talk about advertising. And back to what Tom Ferry, when he talks about a USP, unique sales proposition, that's really about you. It's not really striking that emotional, tangible benefit with a seller. What's in it for you? What does an agent do for you? How do they provide an emotional, tangible benefit to you? And what's interesting is real estate's been going on for so long, for so many decades, that it just doesn't have any room for being disruptive. And we'll talk about that. Here's something that's disrupted there. We can move that banner out of the way. Thank you. The electric light bulb did not come from the continuous improvement of candles. You've got to be an agent of change, in my opinion. But we didn't continue to fix the candle to make it a better candle. We invented the light bulb. That's a disruptor. We changed the entire lighting industry when that happened. Another one that I like is that, if people had asked, if Henry Ford had asked people what they really wanted, they would have said they wanted a faster horse. So there's a disruptor creating a car. Now, those are big, big things. And I'm not saying that real estate's that, rocket scientist-ish, but at the end of the day, in real estate, there can be something that's a disruptor. And so as a consumer, as a seller, ask your agent, what's your marketing mix? How do you really market? And I don't expect the layperson, the seller, or anybody, I understand how you can actually take marketing language and also modalities of marketing and implement them into that process of selling your home, but you can, and we proved that efficiently, effectively, and with great success many years ago. So when you're in that living room sit, ask them, hey, what is the marketing mix and how did you come up with it? So marketing mix is just the four P's: price, product, placement, and promotion. And a lot of people don't really know how to, a lot of agents don't know how to really bring that into discussion. So they talk about sales, USPs, unique selling propositions, not UVPs, unique value propositions. Again, going back to what's that emotional, tangible benefit that they can provide. So as a home loan officer, again, I work for Loan Depot. I'm a home loan officer. I've been doing this 38 years. I'm the first and only in the country that makes buying more affordable and buying less terrifying. Well, again, making selling more efficient. Because you have to have those two things. It's buyer and seller go together, right? And we have to have that relationship. And if we're only working on one aspect of it, the buyer, we may have left the seller out of it. So I think there's well, frankly, I call it a fiduciary to the seller as well. In my position, I believe that. So, uh, how do you get to that place? What are those things as emotional, tangible benefits that an agent could bring to you? Communication. I see on Facebook right now. Let's talk about that. And communication is something. And here's something I've just put up that's talking about. Press one if you want to speak to a realtor. Press two if you want to talk to a mortgage expert. If you're already press one or two, and only what does it say? I can't even read it. I got to put my glasses on. Hang on a minute. I'm telling you when I'm blind. Only reach voicemail if you'd like somebody to track you down. Push six. Track down one of our realtors. Press six. Press eight if you're only wondering why nobody's picked up the phone. And press nine if you want to hear this menu again. So that's the phone tree in I think real estate. And a lot of agents, you can take that down. A lot of agents are putting that out there in their unique value proposition of their USP. Again, their USP, they say, hey, I'm a good communicator, I'm a good negotiator, but isn't everybody else and can anybody else say it? So don't rely on that. I think communication is overplayed. We're seeing a lot of things in online platforms where you have a lot of marketing individuals for agents coming out. They're just coming out in droves. They're saying, hey, sign up with us if you're tired, if you're worried. Even Tony Robbins is talking about, the winter's here, the recession is here. It's going to be a dark winter, blah, blah, blah. The market has changed. Yeah, rates have gone up. The economy is not good. I mean, we have inflation, all those kind of things. I get it. And it's more expensive to buy a home now. Home prices are falling primarily in most regions. And certainly interest rates have an effect on that, the economy, what have you. It's still affordable to buy if you, again, using the buyer benefits bundle is one way, and some other ways you can do that. But at the end of the day, I think that what are agents really providing that can make it so you can find a distinctive difference with the agent you're hiring? And so ask those questions. Marketing is something I don't do, but we see a lot of advertisements right now for trainers, for agents. And I do that. I told you I mentor agents that want to change their position in the marketplace, want to stand out. I wrote a book on this, 5 things every realtor needs to stand out, be memorable. And it talks about things that you can do to change, as an agent, change the way you're perceived by the consumer, because everybody's the same as an agent until they're not. And so that I think is important. Being able to differentiate yourself means you've got to bring something to the table that's unique and different. These programs that are being sold by other mentors and coaches and what have you, they're high level. And I do exposés on them all the time because as a good professional marketer, I mean, we do a lot of research. We do SWOT analysis on our competitors to check them out. And when I check them out, they're talking about high level things or even things that are esoteric. And even Tom Ferry, as great as he is, it's about, you. I think it should be more about, meaning you being the agent. When they're selling to the agent, it's about them. The you is the agent. I think it should be about you, the seller or the buyer. And what do you do to make a buyer like a cash buyer? If you're getting a loan, how do you compete? Now, the market may be cooling off to a point where you don't have to worry so much about cash buyers, but what can you do as an agent to make the buyer stand out? So as a buyer, you can ask the agent, what do you do that is different than anybody else? And it's not just negotiation, like call back, have good communication, and those things. It's what do you really do? So in terms of all of these ads that are out there for agents and trying to provoke them to sign up, there's really nothing that's, you know, you do this. I mean, you push this button and the outcome is X. That's not there. It's all about you and everybody's different. So it's going to be a different thing. But what if it wasn't? And what if it was really based on a product? And what if selling your home was predicated upon a product that provoked the buyer to want to buy your home above all else? Agents have problems. We do in our office a big training room, and we had an agent in a little bit ago, Lindsay, and she was talking about how to um, it was on guidance, how to stage a home or how to fix a home properly, I think is what she was doing. And something, and I think it was along the lines of, don't get me wrong, because I wasn't in it, but it was along the lines of, how do you how do you sell a home in this marketplace more effectively? And it's really just esoteric, high level stuff. There's nothing specific. So what I want to talk about is there is a way to pick agents and ask them specifically, what do you do? What do you do where we push a button and our outcome can be this? And they can only do that if they're speaking the marketing language. So when an agent starts to talk, when you're listing or you're buying home, and they start talking about marketing won't apply so much on the buyer side. But as a seller, when they're talking about marketing, ask them to define their marketing mix. Ask them to define their UVP. Ask them to define the things that they do. Okay, so you can call me again, Mike Hobbs. You're listening to Mortgage Madness with Mike Hobbs. And I'm on YouTube, I'm on Spotify. You find me on Facebook, you find me on LinkedIn, you find me anywhere. My number is 208-643-2865 for our listeners. And you can also find me at Mike Hobbs. That's HOBB as in boy, S as in Sam. Mike Hobbs, the numeral one. So MikeHobbs1.com. You can find me there. And reach out to me. So if you have questions about, how you pick an agent, let me know. I have a lot of agents all around the country, frankly, that I can refer you to that think differently, that either I've mentored or they've picked up parts and pieces. They've read my book and they're really trying to make a difference, not the standard stuff, but really make a difference. One of the things I'll leave you with this. I got in trouble for. I had a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls. It was crazy from appraisers. And I love appraisers. I've been an expert witness for them back in the 90s during times when banks were coming after and headhunting appraisers. So I get what they go through, USPAP and DREA, OREA, all the different regs and criteria for their qualifications and the policies and what have you. Have a really great one that's local. I'm going to have him on, actually. I think I might even try to get him on the next show next week. But I got in trouble for this. So let's put that up on the screen. It was announcing the end of the home appraisal. An appraisal, for those that can't see it, was misspelled. It was spelled in my campaign. I spelled it as APPRAYSAL. Pray is in the middle of it, literally. Let's pray it comes in. But I was able to take this as a tangible part of the product that was given to a seller, pardon me, that helped them define the value of their home prior to selling it, prior to listing it. And it did two things. I'm not going to go into those now, but if you want to know more, ask me. If you're an agent listening to this, ask me, get a hold of me. I don't charge for my mentoring. I help people. Again, I started the show off talking about I like to give. I'm in that place of consumer advocacy. I like to help people grow and expand. So ask me. But announcing the end of the home appraisal got me in trouble because appraisers got hold of that campaign across the country, and they thought I was advocating, saying you don't need an appraiser anymore. Let's get rid of the appraisers. And that's not what I was saying. I was saying you need them more than ever. You need to use them in a strategic way that allows you as an agent to be able to provide and perform as a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, not just a realtor, because you really are the Chief Marketing Officer. And one of the things that irks me most, aside from people not being able to know how to merge onto a freeway, that's another topic. We'll talk about that on the pet peeve side. But what bugs me most is when the agents talk about dropping price. If we're any other business and you were hired as a chief marketing officer to sell a product and sell X amount of widgets at X amount of price, and you had a marketing budget that was set up to do that and you failed, you'd be fired. Agents don't get fired. They build that into their modality and their conversations with the sellers that, hey, if it doesn't sell, we pick this price, but if it doesn't sell, let's go ahead and drop price. I have a real hard problem with that. So the modal in this program that I'm talking about that is related to marketing and not sales or advertising directly, indirectly, yes, but not directly, does just that. So listen, I want to sign off by saying, hey, have a great weekend. I'm broadcasting today on Thursday, and I want to say, have a great weekend. We'll be back next time. We're going to talk about more in depth in this. And if I get enough, calls and texts and emails from people that want to know more about it, let's do. If you know an agent out there, or you are an agent out there, a realtor that's struggling a little bit or not sure about the coming year or what you can do to change your brand and your voice, talk to me. I help agents brand all the time. I help them find distinctive competency. I mean, they are better than anybody else in their vertical, in their area, what have you. I help them do that. And we've proven it. And it's not a high level individualized thing. It is something where you learn how to drive this race car, you'll get around the track a lot faster. So is it complex? Absolutely. Does it take work? Absolutely. Is it completely different than anything you've been taught or know of? Absolutely. But it's a lot of fun. So anyway, so if you're a seller, so again, agent superstar, how do you find one for buyers and sellers? There's ways you can do that. Buyers will get into a little more next time. So we'll come back and finish up this on the next week's show with agent superstar for buyers and what you can do. And I'll tell you some examples and what you can do as a buyer or have your agent do for you to make you more competitive and write more competitive offers. Okay, I'm going to sign off. Mike Hobbs, Mortgage Madness. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I'll say goodbye. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening.